Man, I'm telling you, man. I mean, I've been dazed and confused for so long, it's not true. Wanted a woman, but I never bargained for you. Yes, sir, Andy. I'm talking Led Zeppelin. Dazed and Confused, not the movie in 1993 with Matthew McConaughey. All right, all right, all right. Red lights on, no warning again. And of course, when the red light's on, what does that mean, Andy? It means only one thing, and that is live from New York, it's Saturday night. Oh, no, it's not. It's live from Great Falls. It's Monday morning. Good morning, everyone. It is September 9th on a, how would I say, Andy, a warmish, muggy Monday morning. It didn't really cool down. Got to like upper 50s, low 60s last night around the state. A little cloud cover, a little haze, purple haze. Actually, there has been purple haze on the sunrise and sunsets. It's because of the fire. Fire! Something's burning, and I think it's fires. Last night, warm, like I said, Andy, it's what, another 90? Throw it up there. What do we got here this morning? 91 today. I'm reading the forecast right now. Let's see. It is going to get a little cooler come Wednesday. Come Wednesday. A little rain. Looks like a little rain coming, but 90 today. Guy, I'm getting tired of it. It's been 90 since what, February? It's like, man. Yep. Wednesday, looks like a little rain. If it keeps on raining, levee's gonna break. It's September. That means all Zeppelin, all September long. All September long, Led Zeppelin, all September long. All right. And she's buying a stairway. What? No stairway? Stairway denied? Oh, man. Oh, man. Stairway denied on my own. Are you kidding? All right. Before we get any further, a big thank you and shout out to our weekly sponsor, the Great Falls Gazette. Remember, this show is brought to you by our good friends and neighbors down at the Great Falls Gazette. Local news, local reporting, and still only $1. Gonna buy 5 copies for my mother. Gonna see my smiling face on the cover of the Great Falls Gazette. No, we're not. We're not seeing it yet. We have not seen it yet. So, today, that's September 9th, Monday. What does that mean? Attica! 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 No, it's not Al Pacino from Dog Day Afternoon, which was really a good freaking movie, by the way. I'm talking about the Attica prison riot. Is another 70s thing. It happened on September 9th, 1971. That is 53 years ago. This morning is when it started. On Eastern time, we're 8 o'clock So it'd be 8, 9, 10 o'clock back east. It's already started 53 years ago. So when I was a freshman in high school, a lot of stuff, yeah, freshman in high school. It started as a fight between a couple of inmates, basically, the day before. The day before. And it turned into one of probably the worst prison. There's been some good ones, but this one's probably still the worst prison riot in the United States history. Annie, am I seeing this right? You're showing me a couple more. I see Montana on there. We'll get to that. All right. 33 in September 9th, 1971, 53 years ago, 33 inmates, 10 correctional officers and employees were dead. They were dead by the end of the uprising. And oddly or tragically or whatever enough, all the inmates that were killed that day, all but 3 inmates and 1 officer, they were all, the rest were all killed by law enforcement gunfire as officers tried to take back control of the Attica State Prison. Now, in case you don't know where it's at, Attica is in upstate New York. You know, when there are the people in the crime show, yeah, we're going to send you upstate to Attica. You know, Al Pacino was chanting it. He was a bank robber in Dog Day Afternoon. Yeah, trying to work the crowd up. Attica, Al Pacino. All right. Like I said already, it all started the day before. It was a fight between 2 inmates. It was broken up. They were, what would the word I want to use? They were roughly taken to isolation, to the hole, to solitary confinement. 30 days in the hole. Talking about it, 30 days in the hole. You're right, they were taken to the hole. And not with humble pie, but they were taken to the hole. And these 2 inmates, you know, were like I said, the fight was broken up. They were taken to the hole. The next day, you know, Attica had already had a reputation for hands-on approach, rough place, rough penitentiary, like they all were in the early 70s. The next day, all the inmates that witnessed this attack, and that was broken up, and then witnessed the inmates being taken to the detention, to the hole. They started asking about it to the guards. You know, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What are you doing? I mean, we saw you roughing them up, so what's going on? Of course, the guards are, you know, it's going to cool it down, nothing to see here, you know. They're like, what's going on? What's happening? Why are they okay? Okay, so on a routine, from what we've read, excuse me, on a routine movement through the prison complex, predominantly the complaining inmates were being escorted from one portion to the tunnel, prison to the other. They were going through tunnels, not tunnel-like areas that would transport. The doors were inadvertently locked, okay, from what we've read. They were inadvertently locked. We don't know how they locked. You know, the guards didn't lock. All of a sudden, the doors are locked. the prisoners thought that they were being escorted into the tunnels, and the tunnels were locked because they were going to be retaliated against by the guards for complaining about the people that were in the fight, that got in the fight, then were taken to the hall. The guards thought that the inmates locked the doors, so both of them are not trustworthy of the other ones. And the next thing you know, everybody's kung fu fighting. Bum, bum, bum. They were fast as lightning. You know, everybody's just whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, they're just going off, right? And now you got 2,200 men have been taking control now. That little fist fight in where they were kung fu fighting in the tunnel, all of a sudden escalated to 2,200 people taking control of the Attica State Prison. They had 42 staff hostages. No shit. Everybody was kung fu fight. Everybody. All right. Come on, everybody. Boom, boom. Yeah. So, of course, prisoners are demanding what all prisoners always demand. They're like, you know, better living conditions, the equal rights, no heavy-handed guards, the food could be better, maybe some medical care would be nice. You know, those are the demands. And they attempted to negotiate with those demands, and some of them were actually met. But others weren't. And one of the big sticking point was the staffing at Attica Prison. At the time, they had a history of like I said, heavy-handedness, a history of abuse, a history of, you know, put them in the hole, a history of being like Shawshank. Okay, remember Shawshank? Okay, almost throwing people off the road, you know, yeah, Shawshank. They were heavy-handed. And the governor would not budge with the negotiations on that. You know, they're like, well, we could maybe, you know, take the bugs out of your food, and, you know, we could maybe, you know, help you medical, but as far as, you know, firing all the staff that are kicking your butts, we're not going to do that. And then they said, well, let's meet the governor. Well, the governor there at the time was Governor Nelson Rockefeller. Nelson D. Rockefeller, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. And instead of meeting with the inmates, Nelson Rockefeller thought it would be a good idea to meet with Richard Nixon first. Right, Nelson D. Rockefeller, Richard M. Nixon are going to meet behind closed doors and talk about all the people in Attica that are rioting. Can you imagine those two? What we know about those two? Behind closed door, talking about fair treatment of anyone? Really? And I am not a crook. All right. After the meeting with Richard Nixon, Rockefeller felt that it would be best by taking over the prison by whatever means possible. He said in state and local police to regain control of the Attica State Prison, and by the time that they were done, and then by the time they basically stopped firing their guns, 39 people were dead. Like I said, 29 inmates and 10 correctional officers. They were all killed by law enforcement. Now, afterwards, of course, Nelson D. Rockefeller, being the honest and fair politician that he is, Andy, can you hear the sarcasm dripping from my voice? After the Attica uprisings, Nelson D. Rockefeller tried to blame all 39 deaths that happened on the inmates, and saying in a press conference, and let's get a quote here, Andy, and I quote, "The prisoners said what they were going to do. From the onset, they did it." So, that's what he told the press. Of course, the medical examiners, once they took reports and did their findings, they were like, "You're wrong, Rockefeller. Friendly fire killed everybody." Friendly fire killed everybody. And you got to remember that the inmates weren't armed. They were all rounded up when they started firing into the groups of inmates, and they were just haphazardly firing into the crowd. The state local police, they're the ones that killed their fellow officers. So it was a tragic event in the handling of corrections. It was like everything else was back in the 70s, early 70s. Tough times. It was tough. You ever seen pictures of Brooklyn in the 70s? They had mob guys just hanging around. Attica, though, brought on lots of prison reform and lots of different ways now that we do things in corrections. Of course, we don't haphazardly fire into crowds of unarmed inmates when there are guards in there now. Medical care's got better. Though it was one of the worst in history. I think it is the worst in history. I mean, what are we comparing it to? New Mexico? When was New Mexico? Late 80s? That was inmate on inmate, though, not in 32, 38, 32, 20, 32. That was inmate on inmate. Of course, Montana's not exempt from all this prison uprising and violence. They had the warden killed, the early 1920s or something, when they were bazookaing the towers at the old prison, and then you had the riot in 89, 90, 91, where five or six inmates were killed. So it was, corrections is a rough business. Attica, though, is, I said 53 years ago, everybody knows the cry, Attica, Al Pacino, and Attica, it's like everybody knows it. So, we thought we'd give it a touch. It's interesting stuff to read. It's a violent. You look at pictures that we all looked at, and they were just firing into the crowd haphazardly. Rockefeller and Nixon came up with that. Go figure. Go figure them two, right? Yep. And Andy, we'd be remiss, if we didn't recognize that day after tomorrow, Wednesday, is September 11th. And it'll mark the 23rd anniversary of the September 11th attacks, or the 9/11 attacks, and that was, like I said, 23, yeah, 20, I remember like it was just yesterday. I mean, I'm serious. It just seems like it was a blink of an eye ago. And I'm reading here, 23 years ago, Wednesday. So those that don't know, it was four. They were a coordinated Islamist terrorist suicide attacks. It was carried out by Al-Qaeda and led by Osama bin Laden, all names that we know and have learned over the years through repeated news. But this is where it really all started, I guess. You know, we knew that there was the Islam terrorists. We knew that there was Al-Qaeda. We knew about Osama, but this was the first large attack that they carried it out against the United States. It was the morning. It was Wednesday. It's like we're day after tomorrow. It's like today's Attica. Day after tomorrow, September 11th. What's tomorrow? The debate. Yep. But on the morning of 9/11, there was 19 terrorists hijacked four airlines, commercial. They were all flights that were headed from the eastern seaboard to the west coast. Right, they're all East Coast. They crashed. Basically, they rushed the cabin and took over the planes. They had experience, and they've been trained how to fly. This was all rehearsed. They knew how to do it. It's amazing that our intelligence didn't pick it up. Real amazing. The hijackers crashed the first two planes that they took into the Twin Towers, of course, in New York City, as you know. And they did it on live TV. That's what amazes me. I've seen quite a few history-making events that are just la-di-da like live TV. Okay? We watched the second plane go through. I mean, the third plane hit the Pentagon in Arlington, Virginia. And the fourth plane, and that was Flight 93, okay? That crashed in a field in Somerset County. Yeah, just a field in Somerset County, Pennsylvania. 37 passengers on that flight basically knew what was going on. They knew what was happening. They already knew, they knew what was going on. They knew what was happening. And basically, when the terrorists took over the plane on Flight 93, they just said, we're going to take back over the plane in order to save lives on the ground. And I remember this, and it's worth mentioning, Andy, in the recorded words of a passenger, Todd Beamer, just before he and other passengers said, enough is enough. We're going to storm the cockpit. We're going to end this right here. The buck stops here. What was his name? It was Todd Beamer. They got it on recording. We're gonna go. What was it? Let's roll. Let's roll. Yeah, let's roll. They did. Yeah, roll. They freaking did. It's one of those mornings, so one of those days, like I said, it was on live TV. It wasn't on live TV the first plane, second plane certainly was. I remember that morning well. I was living over by West Elementary School, and I was living with my daughter's mom, and my daughter she was 1 year old. This was 2001. She hadn't been even one yet. I'm getting ready for work, working on the group homes, Andy, and I'm watching ESPN in the bedroom. I'm working, getting ready for work, you know. And my daughter's mom is, in the kitchen area that you can see the TV and blah blah blah. And the first thing is that she's like called me and she's like, "Did you know there's a plane that just crashed into a building in New York?" And ESPN hadn't broken away yet, and so I'm coming out. I'm trying to get dressed. I'm like, "Oh, plane crashed," And next thing you know, ESPN's now right. They're broadcasting the whole plane flying in the aircraft thing, and the one tower's smoking, and it was literally, you watched it. I remember, I'm like, she's yelling, "Are you seeing this?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'm seeing this." Ran out in the living room, and you figure the first one, we figured the first was an accident, and I think everybody else did until you saw and then the press is covering the smoke coming out of the first tower, and all of a sudden you got the smoke coming into the next. It was, 2,977 lost their lives due to that attack. I can't help to think about the parallels that would be between that and Pearl Harbor Day. And December 7th, because when I was a kid, Pearl Harbor Day was a huge deal. I was around World War II veterans, and a lot, my dad and my mom, and it was a huge thing. But now, and everybody was involved. Nowadays, it seems like, I don't know, it seems like, I don't want to say they're apathetic, and I know it's a big thing on the East Coast, and I know it's a big thing in New York, and I know it's a big thing for certain people. But when I was a kid, Pearl Harbor, December 7th, was a big thing for everyone throughout the country. It was a Remembrance Day, and I'm not seeing that so much. Maybe I'm wrong, Andy. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm just not. I remember where I was. I remember, how it affected. Oh, yeah, I have newspaper articles and magazines and clippings and all sorts of stuff. So, I So remember, the day after tomorrow, on Wednesday, do the appropriate actions or sentiments that you deem necessary. And Andy, we'd be remiss if we did not mention that tomorrow night, starting at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, that's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the presidential debate between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, live from, you thought I was going to go live from, you knew it. Yeah, but it's not. It's live from the Philadelphia's National Constitution Center. Do it like that. Live from the Philadelphia National Constitution Center, it's the presidential debate. How was that? Debate which will be carried on ABC and will be posted by David Muir and Lindsay Davis. Like I said, it'll be hosted by ABC, but I can't see it that it's just limited to ABC, is it? Every network I'm thinking, ABC hosts it, but you're going to be able to watch it pretty much everywhere. On Dish TV, Dish Network, streaming TV, YouTube, regular TV, cable TV. You know, it should be easy. Da, ba, ba, ba. It's like no problem watching the debate. Yeah, so 90 minutes long. Yep, 90 minutes long. They got no prepared notes, no opening statement, no note-taking, a bottle of water. And that's pretty much it, man. 2 breaks in the 90 minutes. Okay? And let's, like I said, it starts at 6 o'clock our time in Montana, and it starts at 8 o'clock back east. Oh, geez, let's hope they're much better behaved than the people that I'm seeing on social media. I mean, for heaven's sakes. And it's not just limited to one party or another party or one side or another. It's all just spewing just such false hate information. I'm ashamed that some of the people that I'm watching on, it's like, do you have parents and a wife and children, and do they see what you're posting on the internet? But I guess it's no different than some of the candidates and some of the stuff that they post on the internet, the disinformation, could you call it that? It's like, man. So, yeah, we got the debate tomorrow night. So, I hope for better behavior than I'm seeing on Facebook. All right, Andy, what are we doing? Attica! We did. All right, Andy says we got to get out of here. So, we got to get out of here. So, enjoy your Monday. Enjoy your week. We got Attica today. You got the debates tomorrow. 9/11. Lots of community events here in Great Falls. You would look them up, get involved. All right, until next week, spay and neuter, adopt, don't shop, foster, volunteer, rescue, and hey, adopt a shelter pet today. Andy, we're out of here. We are out of here. Until next Monday, see you, everybody.